I walked in and I sat behind these men, and I have to tell you that this is the greatest collection of men that I know. Father, let me start with Father Morris. He said he felt like he was a cow in a zoo. Let me tell you something, Father. I'm the biggest cow, and this is the biggest zoo. But you did say something when you just talked about the cow being behind bars. We all very well may be behind bars someday. The reason why I say these men are the greatest men I know is because I know history, and I know history repeats itself. And I know that men who will stand and can wield the sword of righteousness, as these men will, the leaders of the world will pee their pants. I can't wait for a few world leaders to have a big wet spot right here. I'm waiting for the day. That's number 2, right behind Jesus coming, which also may cause a big wet spot for many people. Oh crap, it wasn't just a story. I know history, like David Barton knows history. And these men were the same kind of men at the Revolution. Were the first to be killed, the first to be rounded up. The churches were the first to be burned. Why? Because any population that follows God wins. Any population can be free of oppression and kings. I will tell you, I've been at the stadium all day today rehearsing. And today, the day of service, how many people served today? God bless you. Never before in American history that we can find, and we have a pretty good historian, never before in American history that we can find, has there not been a tragedy where 30,000 people volunteered to serve. Never. This is what is, I truly believe, buying us time. As many of these men know, Richard Land is one of the greatest men I know. Brave. In case you don't know, hello, my name is Glenn, and I'm an alcoholic Mormon. That's a hard one to complete, but I did it. And Richard, no, it is. There are not a lot of them. Rare species. Richard, James, all of these men have stood and listened and counseled and rolled up their sleeves and prayed and stood when it wasn't in their best interest to stand with an alcoholic Mormon. But they knew they weren't standing with me. I was trying my best to stand where the Lord had asked me to stand, and they were doing the same. Let me tell you this. We all have a piece to the puzzle. And the Lord is coming, and He is our Father in heaven. And He's made promises and covenants. We're the ones who break it, not Him. And He's coming. And I don't know, I try so hard to understand God in the way that I understand being a dad. And if my kids are arguing, I don't care who started it. And you know the one I punish first? When I come into a room and they're back and forth arguing and I tell them, didn't I tell you just to go in and brush your teeth and you were supposed to put on your pajamas? Yeah, but he was... The one I grab by the ear first is the one who's saying, I've been telling them that that's what they were supposed to do. I immediately say, did you do what you were supposed to do? Well, yeah. Believe me, when the Lord comes, anybody who's pointing the finger to the other one is in trouble first. United we stand, divided we fall. We may all disagree, but let me tell you this. My family was destroyed by alcoholism. My mom was an alcoholic. She committed suicide. My brother-in-law committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. I'm an alcoholic. I have seen the ravages of alcoholism and family despair. I've seen it. I've lived it. I am proud to say, with the atonement, I have conquered it in my own life. Because of the saving power of Jesus Christ, anything can be done. And let me tell you this. Our country is disease-ridden because we haven't been following his teachings. Whether we are sitting there or we're sitting there, we haven't been doing the tough thing. James Robinson, I'll never forget, said to me when I was so afraid to ask these guys to come and meet, this is 3 years ago, and nobody was going to listen to me. I mean, Mormon alcoholic. And James said the greatest thing. I bore my testimony. And James sat there with all of these great men in the room. May I share it? And he said, shame on us. We've all heard it. We all know. But for whatever reason, we haven't done it. And so God went to a Mormon alcoholic. It's great, and I shall make weak things strong. They heard it, and they have come and risen to a challenge. They are great men. I exhort you to listen to them. I exhort you to go to your pastor, your priest, your rabbi, and you say, have you heard these men? What are you doing? Have you heard these men? If you are a pastor, priest, or rabbi, please stand behind God. Let him be your shield. Let him be your fire. He will protect you. He will guide you. It is imperative. He is not neutral in the affairs of mankind. He is not neutral in the freedom of mankind. America is necessary for his work to be done, and we are not going to be the generation that returns home and says, sorry, Dad, we blew it. Stand and follow great men. God bless.